So hello. Today is Wednesday, the Wednesday before the Friday before the 4th of July. So you guys are seeing this closer to the 4th of July, so let's see, today's the second, third, fourth. Maybe it is the 4th of July. Hey, when is the 4th of July?
It's Friday, July 4th, 2025.
Okay, so Friday is when you're gonna see this. So happy 4th of July, you guys. I'm filming before, as I just barely said, but I'm also filming because my friend Renee is coming. She's coming to visit my apartment and to have a good, fun, tranquil time for the last time before my apartment gets all like packed up and like gets to be all chaos and stuff. So it's like the peak time of summer, but it's also like this nice little pocket of time before like the chaos happens. So we're gonna make memories and we're gonna have fun talks and we're just gonna enjoy ourselves. So I hope that today you are having the beginning of a lovely 4th of July weekend if you celebrate that. But just in general, I hope that you take advantage of the peak of summer. Summer is so fleeting. So and winter lasts so long. And I just wanted to remind you to take advantage of that if you kind of forgot, but I don't think that you guys forget. I think that you guys are good about that probably. But anyways, I wanted to talk about the idea of the importance of, I find it super important to diversify your relationships that you have. In life, I think that you're taught from a very early age that people have certain roles in your life. I think at that age is like when it's pretty helpful to have like clearly defined roles. You go to school, you understand who is your teacher, who is your parent, who is your cousin, who is your neighbor. As you get older, and as you develop into your own person and as you develop your own needs, I think it's no longer as useful to keep the concept of clearly defined roles. So what I'm gonna try to explain to you is like with examples of like how I have weird relationships and how I think that it benefits me when it comes time to like understanding certain things. I never really had like a normal kind of like mother role. I always had like a strange kind of like substitute for a mom because my real mom was like MIA. So I never really understood like a maternal kind of figure. And so my concept of that has always been malleable. It's never been, this is what I'm told, this is what I see, this is what I look for. So that's one of my major relationships in life that has always been kind of fluid. Like I didn't just like walk around thinking that anybody could be my mother, but I did understand that my mother was not really my mother. My mother was like my aunt mother that I didn't really know who she was. She was kind of like stranger mother, if you will. And so I understood that roles were what you make of them, but like most people understand their roles and have expectations for who you are and who I am. So like expectations in the dynamic based upon certain stuff. So what I'm trying to say is when I was younger, I had an idea of like what a dad was supposed to be like, because I had a dad and he did dad things. I had a brother, I had a sister, and I had cousins, I had neighbors, I had friends, I had best friends. I understood that a best friend was different than a person that you just knew from class and you sat by them and you got along with them. Like, I understood that after school, I don't go over to everybody's house. I go over to my best friend Heather's house and we watch movies, and then I eat some snacks, and then we go home separately, right? Like, we do things. I don't do that with everybody, and but like, I can get along with everybody. So like, my concept of things were like defined for me normally, but I had like one major role in my life that was like, well, I'm gonna define it how I want. I see that it's not normal, and I see that she's not fulfilling her role in ways that other mothers fulfill. And so like, that major role is kind of like up for adaptation. So the other roles in my life were kind of more normal until I got a stepmom. And I was like, this isn't really my mom, but like, I understand that she fills a maternal role, but like, she doesn't really do the same things that I see other moms do. So she's not my mom. You know, she doesn't treat me as her own child. Unfortunately, I had a stepmom like that. And so it was like, I'm going to still keep this role open. I'm not just looking to fill this role. I'm going to keep it malleable, and I'm going to keep it as I define it. So I see that she's in this maternal spot, but she's not mother to me. My own mother is not mother, and she's not mother to me. So therefore, I have to get motherly things from other people. And fortunately for me, I had great aunts that were like maternal, and they were lovely. And I learned about how to be kind of like a woman growing up in the world because they gave me motherly love, right? They were just nice, and they were part of my blood family, and they loved me, and they showed me what they could from the role that they played. Even though they were aunt, they were more aunt mother. And so that's how it was. And so I grew up like that. Then I got a boyfriend, and I learned that mother in that household was fabulous. She wasn't going to be my mother, but I could learn how another mother who was healthy and happy and loved their children, like how to have a relationship with her. And I learned how, you know, that works. But I didn't think of her as my mom, but I thought of her as like the closest thing to like a role that I would want if she was my mom. Like, I understood the dynamic, and I understood because she showed her own children a more traditional kind of dynamic than the hodgepodge mother that I kind of like saw. Because of that, I think I allow for play to happen amongst people that have relationships with me. And I want to get into like the more like present time. So I have a lot of relationships that I'm comfortable defining for myself. And because of that, I feel like I'm really diversified in like where I get my needs and wants met. I feel like people have people in their lives for reasons. Sometimes you do not have a lot of people in your life, and you have to get a lot of your needs met by a few. Sometimes they're not very good at meeting your needs because that's just not possible that they can provide that. They just don't have that. I sprinkle in my needs and wants amongst a bunch of different people because I am okay with having a bunch of different types of relationships that I feel like would make some people uncomfortable. But I think that I'm happy, fragmented this way, and I'm really fulfilled this way because that doesn't bother me. Like, the concept of a traditional something doesn't get in my way from being able to adapt to get it some other way that I still find mutually beneficial and mutually healthy. So I guess let's talk about specifics. I think one of the first things that I can tell you about my friendships right now is that they're mostly all remote. I only have one in-person friend here. I feel like a lot of people would define or have friends in person. I've learned how to have and maintain connection with people, even if we're not together in the same environment. We can FaceTime, we can keep our connection going with phone calls, and we can keep our connection going with text messages. Or I send them packages, they send me packages. It's all about finding communication that's consistent enough to keep that bond going, but also like connecty enough for me to and them to want to continue it when I'm not in front of them, just available. Like, both people have to want to do this extra effort of keeping the connection going when it's like this. When it's very easy to just go over to see your neighbor and all of a sudden they're your best friend because they're like very like conveniently located, and it's just like, you know, you just talk on the couch about life and then you just go home. This is very like, are you available on Friday? I am available on Friday. Do you want to have a FaceTime? You know, like you have to like schedule time. You actually have to make time. So like a lot of my relationships are inconvenient, but it serves purpose because these relationships are important to me, and hopefully important to them too. But they tell me that I'm important to them too because they make time for me. I make time for them, they make time for me. And so we've maintained long distance relationships, but it's very connected still. So I also have relationships where I am blood related and we do not talk at all. And that helps me understand the concept that like connection is a choice. It's not, you're born into it. It's not a duty, it is an active choice. Even if you're taught from an early age that you're supposed to have connection, the strongest connection to your blood relatives, because you're family and family is the closest unit. It's, to me, I feel like it's all about choice, and it's all about effort, and it's all about what works and what doesn't. And it's about seeing that instead of forcing something that's supposed to be. So I don't force what's supposed to be, and that's why I bring that up. Not because like I need to talk about the relationships that I don't have that are connecting, but because it's part of the puzzle of understanding it's a choice. So I understand that that's a choice, and I make a choice to not really care that it's the worst ever. I feel like a lot of people think that men and women cannot be friends. I sort of kind of believe that, but I also see instances where it just works. So I have, and I've talked about my pen pal person. He is a dude, and I used to really want to be with him, and I used to really have an idea, a traditional idea of how the dynamics should be in a relationship. If a man and a woman gets along, they should explore that, because like, why not? Like, you should want to, I thought, if it shows potential that you could be really good match, why are you not pursuing that? That makes no sense. So I didn't understand that I could just be comfortable with, I get along great with this person, mentally we are compatible, and in terms of like how to communicate, we are compatible, and in terms of like supporting each other's lives we are compatible, but like we're not compatible when it comes time to like doing anything with that. And therefore I don't, just because A plus B equals this fun C, this like nice thing that has potential, doesn't mean I need to explore that in order to like not get anything from this relationship. I don't need to turn it into we should be together just because we get along. I don't need to turn it into we're wasting our potential just because we're not pursuing a romantic relationship that has like commitments and stuff. I can now, after years of like accepting this, I can now understand that like I don't really meet a lot of guys that like I connect with in this way, and having him in my life is so beneficial because it allows for a different perspective from a dude. Like just like it like diversifies who I spend my time talking with, because he's a guy versus like a woman. I have deep conversations with him. I share my hopes and dreams with him, and like I'm very real with him in ways that I am with like my female friends, and I value his opinion on the exact same level, and like he's become like one of my best friends, and I appreciate his perspective so much because it offers just a tinge bit different life like viewpoints and stuff. That like I have blind spots when it comes to like thinking about things from a male's perspective because I'm not a male. There's no way that I can like see it exactly from how a dude would see it. So I enjoy this like odd relationship that I have with him because it allows me to be more diverse. It's odd. It was uncomfortable for me for a long time, and then I just kind of got used to accepting that this is still worthwhile. This is still good enough. And like ever since then, ever since I accepted it, that we do not have to do anything with that, there's been no pressure, this weird pressure. I can just openly enjoy. I allow for what I think a friend should be to include members of the opposite sex that I don't want to sleep with. I can include that in my brain as like, this is acceptable and this is fun. This, as long as it's mutually beneficial for him and me, we can continue as is. And we have continued for like 5 or so, 6 years now, almost 6 years now, this way. And it's only been about like 3 years since I've accepted that we're just gonna be friends, and it's been so much nicer. It used to cause me all this stress, and now it doesn't. And like I fully enjoy him as one of my good friends, and none of that other stuff has changed. I'm still attracted to him. I don't want to do anything with that, and I don't feel sad about that whole thing anymore. Like it doesn't cause me pain at all. I just realize that I biologically am attracted, and like I don't need to act on that in order to get something from him in a connected way. Like it's fine. I think, admittedly, I would have to rethink that whole dynamic if I got into a relationship, because that could be seen as weird to be that close to a man that is just my friend, and to share that much with the, you know, another person that is of the opposite sex, right? Like that could be complicated, but for right now, it's like, it's fine. And that's why it works, because I allow that to be okay. I allow the weird dynamics that other people would judge. I allow that to just be something I don't even think about, and I just enjoy it. Another way that I enjoy people is that I enjoy the casualness of relationships sometimes. I don't date people only for the pure end goal of being together forever. I have allowed myself to enjoy the company of guys, and it be maybe we just go on a date and we just talk. maybe we don't do that at all and we just have sex. Maybe we have some sort of hybrid of that, except for it lasts for like 3 or 4 weeks. Or maybe we just have some hybrid of that and it lasts for 3 or 4 phone calls. I'm going to try to enjoy them, if they enjoy me, in a way that is fun, and in a way that I'm trying to just learn about the different dynamics that can be enjoyable for me. I went on a date with someone that I think that most women in my shoes would have said no to. So there was a guy on vacation here, and I thought he was a really interesting person, and so I wanted to spend time with him because he's an interesting person. Didn't matter that he was leaving out of the country in like 2 days. I thought that if he had time for me, I wanted to enjoy in-person time with him. And I wanted to enjoy it because that in itself is valuable. That's a valuable experience for me to have, to enjoy something fleeting and to not just define it as successful if we turn it into a relationship. So I went on a date. I had fun in my own fun way. And then I liked the fact that like I enjoyed something fleeting, and like I was open to that. I think because I'm open to a lot of different ideas of how a dude can be in my life, that I'm open to how it evolves. Like, say I was only trying to have long-term relationships, I'd be very disappointed in how things are going if that didn't happen. The way that I have it currently right now is that I can have connecting relationships that are very meaningful with the opposite sex, and I can have conversations that are enjoyable. I can have unenjoyable moments that also mean something. I can learn from all different kinds of ways in which I can allow men to enter my life and I enter theirs, and I can get experience with having a male in my life versus only being experienced with having a bunch of female friends. I think I'm more like diversified in just understanding things from their perspective. If I spend more time talking with them, I can understand how their body works. I can understand how their needs are different than my own, and I can just understand what I like about guys, or like, you know, whatever. If I just try to be okay with having strange relationships. And I feel like going on a date with somebody that's going to be out of the country, bye-bye, we're never going to talk again, in 2 days, I feel like that's weird. I feel like that's also not weird. I feel like if you define happiness as making use of moments in your life that matter, I did that. I did that, and I made use of that just then. I didn't need it to be good, sustainable good. I have sustainable good with somebody else, and I get sprinkles of what it's like to have sustainable good, you know, with the opposite sex or whatever, and like I have experience with that, but I want to have a bunch of different experiences. I want to have experiences, this is really strange, I have experience with like, I just experienced lust with somebody, but like sustained lust. Very strange. So we don't have any sort of romantic relationship whatsoever, but we have this very strange relationship that's mostly now sustained from far away. I don't even know how to like explain this relationship, and I don't know how much I want to talk about this relationship, but instead of being friend, instead of being casual, instead of being a dude that I'm trying to pursue something long-term with, I am just trying to activate my lust and have his be activated as well. Because like that's all we are to each other. I have no other person on this planet that I just text lusty kind of sexual crap to, and he just does that to me. I don't find it cringy whatsoever. I don't find it usy whatsoever. I find it entertaining. I find it like connecting in this way that like allows me to explore my sexual fantasies with this one person that I have this weird relationship with, where we just tell each other every single thing about how we are sexually. But like, we've only had sex twice. It was great sex, but we've only had sex twice, and like I would love to repeat it again. And I feel like that's part of like why I keep this going with this person. They've activated something with their physical body. I don't like them just for their mind. I don't like them just for their friendship that they give me. This guy's not even really that nice to me. In fact, he's kind of a dickhead. But like in this one area that we've decided is mutually okay to do to each other, because I've asked him, I was like, do you mind that I like use you? He's like, no, I don't at all. I find it fun, and like we've talked about that. I was like, if you don't want me to do this to you anymore because it's like not kind, then like I won't. But if you're down for this, then like okay. He's like, I'm okay with it if you're okay with it. Like we actually had that talk. Like it was like halfway through our like little whatever we're doing, but I was like, are you good with this? Like I don't want you to think that I'm like this normally. You just bring this out in me, and like you just happen to be like, you know, nobody really activates this in me, and I want to explore this relationship with you. I'm not like this with other people, and we have this really interesting, unique dynamic, and I'd like to keep doing this with you because it's fun. So like it's weird because I don't have any ideas that this is going to turn romantic. Like it's the first time that it's like the opposite of my pen pal. It's like the first time that like I have lust and like my body is activated by him. He makes me the most horny I've ever been in my entire life. But I have no expectations that we're going to be like romantic to each other, or like even supportive or friends. But he's like oddly supportive of something very vulnerable, because it's like my sexual desires, which is like, I would never tell anybody hardly ever those things, right? But like here I am, I can tell him because he's like receptive of that in the way that I love, and I'm receptive of the things that he tells me. And like I've asked him, I was like, are you like this with other people? And he's like, no, you bring this out in me. And like he's just like, I like being able to do this, because like we have this weird rapport that I could almost never get to this level with any other person in this exact way. We have this strange thing, and I know it's strange, and like it did bother me until I got used to it. It bothered me because I was like, what do I do with this? I'm physically attracted to somebody, and I'm not trying to turn it into something more. This is weird. But also it's like it's not the same thing as like a casual relationship that I have, that I just go on Tinder dates and I have like lust for them or whatever, they have lust for me, and we hook up and then we never see each other again. It's weird because it's prolonged. It's weird because it's been going on for like 2 years. And it's weird because it's like still oddly fulfilling, and it's not boring. It actually evolved. It is layered, just like a normal relationship would have to be layered in order to be maintained and complex. Like you don't want to just be the same type of friend to somebody. as you were when you were 16 that you are when you're like 40. Life happens, you get experience, you want to grow with somebody. So like over those 2 years, we've like grown even in this one way that we connect with each other. And it's very odd. And that's all I want to say about that. But because of him, I understand what it's like to really get deep into being trusting of somebody with just this, and what that feels like when it's a mutual trust. And so I feel like when I finally find somebody that I want to date long term, I will understand what it's like to connect on an emotional level and like on a physical level with somebody in a way that I enjoy, because I've experienced that in all the weird little fragmented relationships that I have that I just kept going. I do want to say, you should pay attention that I kept saying I did have a problem with it. I did have a problem with it. I wasn't just like, my mind wasn't just like, yeah, I accepted this and that's how I have all these weird relationships. No, I did try to put them in a category, in a box that I previously understood, but things got better for me once I got over that. And the way that I got over that was just by experiencing it more and more and more, and like not trying to change it after a while. Of course I did try to change it. Like I was like, this needs to make more sense. It doesn't make sense. This needs to make more sense. And when I stopped pushing against resistance, that's when I just allowed it to like work for me. I didn't need it to work for me in a traditional way. I just let it be. So I just let this dude be. I send him dirty things and he sends me dirty things, and like I'm perfectly happy with just talking to him sporadically. And like he does make me kind of sad sometimes, but like nothing like it used to, because like I just understand the benefit of him being in my life is like understanding like I have an outlet for this thing that like I don't have an outlet for in other relationships, and to just like be happy this way, right? Like I don't know, I don't think everybody should have this kind of weird relationship, but I understand in my life I am happy with that kind of relationship. It's really weird. I also have friends that like I don't even know what they look like. I have some of the most connecting conversations with people that are like kind of like figments of my imagination almost. Like I just have phone conversations with this one person and it's just the most amazing thing ever. And like I'm super grateful, super thankful that they're in my life. And if I was wrapped up in like what I think a traditional friend should be and what that looks like, I would not be able to really enjoy the things that I enjoy about this dynamic, because I allow for the weird dynamic to happen. I allow for the benefit, the mutual benefit to happen, and that's that. Then I have more traditional friends where like I know them in person, I see them in person, and we hug, and like they're not to the level of friendship that I find super fulfilling, but I still call them friend because I take what is good and I get what I need from other people, because I have so many different types of weird relationships. I allow that to just be that. You can be my friend and not fulfill everything that I define a really great friend to be. Like it has to like hit minimum in order for me to like want to put effort into being their friend. Like I don't enjoy collecting acquaintances, but I like to have more connection. But like I think it's nice to like allow for someone to be very connected with me and allow for adaptation even within that friendship. Like to wrap my head around, I don't have to be disappointed that they're not the same. People are not going to stay the same. and like I'm not going to stay the same. So why should our dynamic be the same? Allow for growth to happen, growth from them, and then growth from me. And that can happen simultaneously, but that can also happen separately. So even within the more traditional relationships, I allow for complexity to happen, because I allow for complexity to happen in places where I think people often resist any sort of dynamic that doesn't look like he's my boyfriend, he's my neighbor, he's whatever, whatever, whatever. I have all kinds of like weird relationships with people that are just strange. And I love them. So I have more traditional, yes, but I also have very strange. And I've come to like really appreciate the mix. And the reason why I bring this up is because it allows me to get what I need and to give to people in ways that make me feel good. I like to connect with people in an authentic, true way. I think you can even see this dynamic as one of the ways in which I try to connect in like a non-traditional way. I don't know anything about you, you almost know everything about me, right? So like, I don't think that we're friends, but we're not friends, right? Like, it's very strange, and I allow this is the only place that I have this dynamic where I'm allowed to blab along on my ideas about life, and I try to like do it this way. This is the only place that I have where I can be completely selfish. I don't have to listen to you. All of my other relationships, I actually have to care about the dynamic, right? Like I do care about your life, and I do care about you as an individual human as you're watching this, but like we're not interacting. This is the only place that I kind of like tell my things to, and like you eventually watch it, but it's weird because like I don't ever like get to in real time interact with you. It's always later on if you decide to interact with me, right? Like it's different. And I allow that to happen because I enjoy this dynamic. I enjoy it in the comments when we talk. I enjoy this little community of people that like hang out with me or whatever, but I also enjoy what I get out of it and what I give to it. I enjoy that. And that's what I'm trying to say by like, I get my happiness from my connections in various ways because I've allowed for diversity. I've allowed for like, I don't care if it looks weird. Once I get over that, like I'm not trying to put it into a box. Sometimes it takes me longer. Obviously it takes me longer with dudes because it's like harder for me to wrap my head around what a relationship looks like with dudes, but like I'm getting there. Like 3 or 4 years ago, I would have never thought that like I could have different types of casual dates. I just thought a casual date was a casual date, but like I have different types of them. And like, what does that look like? Like, is this weird? Is this not weird? Is this weird to me? I try to have a varied perspective because I'm trying to get like I just get very fulfilled by like all the different things that each one gives me. Some of it is overlapping, yeah, but some of it is very like I only get to do it with this one type of person, and like I really enjoy that from them. I'd be really sad if they went away. Like I didn't get that dynamic at all anywhere, but like I have the experience of like connecting with a person in the world that way, so I know it's possible. I can do that again. It won't be to that same degree of connection probably and arrive at the same way, but like it is possible to get my needs met if I don't have this one perfect person, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm a happier person at any given time because of what I try to pursue on a daily basis. Not only saving my happiness for like when I find the one. I'm not only happy with my friendships if I have the perfect best friend. I can accept any level of my friend, and like amongst the variety of friends that I have, I can feel like I'm seen and heard, and vice versa. Like I can see and hear a bunch of people that I'm connected to. If like one of them is dropping the ball, it's totally fine. If I'm dropping the ball, I feel like they're kind of fine because they also do this. I spend my time with people who have a variety of different friendships as well. I feel like it's just a sad existence if you like put all of your eggs into one basket and you only have your husband or your wife, or you are a single parent and you only have the dynamic that you are a parent. What are you gonna do when your child grows up and like you have an empty house? What are you gonna do? You have to diversify where you get your needs met. I try to understand that things don't have to be boxed up. I work on that. Sometimes I want that because it's like easier than like accepting the messy, but I do work on that. Like sometimes I do get upset with like my female friends if they're like not being like the best friend ever, and I'm just like, do I really need to be that upset? Why are my expectations for my female friend so much greater than my pen pal friend? I give him so much leeway because I'm just like, well, he's a dude. He probably doesn't get certain things, blah, blah, blah. He's busy with his dude life, right? Like I don't have the same emotional like expectations for him. Why do I give him grace, but I don't give my female friend some grace, right? Like why can't I just accept that it's fine? And to like, it's not a them problem. It's like I was putting too many of my emotional needs into one person's basket. Work harder at getting more friends that understand emotional things, right? Like maybe I'll get my needs met other ways. Maybe I can just like figure it out on my own and work on that. You know, maybe I can just sit with that better or whatever. Like there's different ways to get your needs met, and there's different ways to like maintain a happy, fulfilled life as you're trying to find the journey of finding more permanent people in your life. But I try to make good use of like the times where like it's not perfect. It's like being happy with what's going on right now, like being happy with the opportunity that I want to take advantage of, or just being happy with what's going on. Like when I get a boyfriend and like when I like, you know, connect with him, I probably won't need my weird kind of like 2-year pen pal thing that I just like have this strange lust relationship with. I probably won't do that, you know? But that's how people adapt. He didn't adapt with me to be more connected. So like, I'm not gonna use him as a friend. We're not friends. This is the thing that we share. And like, once I find that from somebody who gives me more, then I'll stop doing that with him, right? Like, I think he'll just like understand that, or maybe not. I don't really care, because he doesn't care to like be like connecty with me on an emotional level. And so like, it just makes sense to be kind of cutthroat that way. It is cutthroat. the way that we are with each other is very cutthroat. It's very strange, and that's what I mean by like, I allow for the weird to happen. You would not think that you could just be like, well, this 2-year thing can just be done at the blink of an eye if I get into a relationship that I really care about. That's the nature of that relationship. And I feel like that's why people are uncomfortable. And like the reasons why I think that I can be just as replaced like in an instant. In fact, he does stop talking to me and it's not consistent and like it hurts me, but like I accept that. It's like the pros and cons to this type of relationship that once I understand the rules, like I can understand there's new rules to like wrap my head around versus like how to maintain a long-term best friend out of state. Very different than how to maintain this flirty kind of weird thing that I have this like insane physical attraction to this dude. Those are super different, but like it's just different, and like I acknowledge that it's different, but it gives me different things. I don't text Renee lustful things, right? I feel like that would be very inappropriate for like us. Like she doesn't need that and I don't need that from her. Like that has nothing to do with like what's going on with that dynamic. At the same time, it's almost equally inappropriate for me to like out of the blue call up the lustful dude and be like, this happened to me, please comfort me. Like I don't have that expectation that he's going to do that. That would be really weird. So like I understand that there are things that I have to do in order to maintain both that are overlapping, but at the same time I allow for different rules and different expectations and different outcomes to be truths. And it's not easy, but at the same time getting all of your needs met in like this fragmented kind of weird way is not easy, but it's just enjoyable. And this is how I've learned how to get my needs met when I don't have a long-term steady boyfriend. This is how I learned how to get my needs met when I don't have in-person friends that I can see every single day and be able to hug them. Like I've tried to like adapt as much as possible to enjoy people and have them enjoy me, and to like provide value and to like get something out of relationships. I've allowed it to be weird, like really weird, and I've allowed it to be fun. I have no desire to like have these things be different. And if they are different, like it's okay. That's another thing. It's like if one of these people like goes away, like my whole world is not crushed, because like not everything that I get from people is like from one person. So I allow the diversification allows for so much enjoyment, but it also kind of like hedges my bet on like how like damaged I could be if like it goes away. People die. People move on with their lives, and it has nothing to do with you. People decide to not like me, or I decide to not like them, but I still miss that dynamic, right? Like you're like, no matter what the reason is for like the relationship to like change and to like be gone, I can't predict that. I can just enjoy what is happening now. So my weird kind of relationships help me see like what's possible, and like help me like not settle, but also help me like with the frustration of getting my needs met or whatever, in between time where I'm not finding a person that I would consider good to attach my life to. It like sets standards. Do you see that? Like I know that it's possible to like have my mind and my body be activated. It just happens to be from two different people. It's not the same person. But I know that that's possible to find that type of thing from in a male. So like I know that it's possible, but like I'm holding out on like messing up the relationships that I have by like finding somebody better to like replace or to add. Like it like creates this like standard when it comes time to like understanding the dude thing. I'm not trying to like find new best friends when it comes time to like thinking about like my women friendships. I don't know, even amongst that, it's like kind of complicated, because I don't mean to say that the relationships that I have are like throwaway. I just know that once I find more qualities in one person, I know that the relationships that I have that are fragmented will have to be a little bit different than they are right now. And if I'm going to change anything about the fragmented ones that I enjoy right now, like the relationship that I find in one person, the new relationship, the person that I'm committing myself to, is going to have to be better than what I get from a fragment. So it creates a standard. It creates a standard when, like, if I didn't have these weird relationships, I would just be like, well, this is good, this guy's great, right? And he doesn't fulfill my needs at all, because I have my needs met by other people already in a variety of different ways. Like, I don't put all of my eggs into one basket, and it allows me to like see, don't attach yourself long term to somebody that's not better than like what you can do by yourself. I think is like the thing that I wanted to say. It allows me to see that it needs to be more special if I'm going to do that. Like long term. To me, I feel like it's like I chose this. I didn't end up like this. I chose this. And I choose this in a variety of different ways. And I think you see that. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about the outcomes. I'm pretty fulfilled. I'm not that lonely. But if a person that didn't do this was in my same situation, I think they would be pretty lonely. But I think you don't have to be if you are just good at diversifying. I think diversification is super important in all the different ways of life. This was just how I've done it in relationships of all different kinds. So thank you for listening to my babbly talk about weird relationships. I hope this was interesting. It was interesting for me. I had thought about it previously, like on my own, but not to this extent that I did with you, so this was fun. So thank you for letting me have a space in which I can do that. So I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in my next video. So take care and be well.